put in like 3 grand at the start and I blew it all. Greed is really the biggest thing, because there's been times I don't make massive amount of profits, but I've had 4 payouts from Think Capital so far. I trade mainly gold, easy money, but at the same time easy to lose a lot of money. I've basically got a 1%. If I can get 1% over 2 weeks, I'm more than happy with that. I got a payout this morning. The minute you get your funded account, try and keep the funded account rather than thinking about too much profits. If you've got a goal in mind, you don't need to get to that goal the next day. It can take you weeks, days, months, whatever long it takes you. You've got to take your time, protect your funded, because it's not easy to get a funded account. The overall experience with Think Capital has been really good. How are you?
Yeah, good. So do you want to get started by telling everyone your background, when you found trading, so how long you've been trading for, and also how you found it?
Ads and stuff on sort of social media, Instagram and stuff, so it was just, obviously at that time you started to see people making crazy amounts of money, and of course who doesn't want to make crazy amounts of money? So I joined a couple of Telegram channels initially to start with, just because it seemed as though it was the easiest thing to do, deposit some money. I've been doing it for about 3 years, 4 years. Nice. So after following loads and loads of channels, I ended up having loss after loss after loss. I was blowing accounts for fun. I then just started creating my own demo accounts. I got a couple of demo accounts, found out a strategy that works for me. Slowly built up a demo account, my 20,000 demo account to about 90,000 over the space of sort of 6-7 months. But my risk management was still really poor. So I cut my lot size down. I eventually then went, what I'll do is I'll start with a funded account, a very small 25k funded account, and just put on some very low lot sizes, etc. So that's kind of what I've done. I follow a very simple strategy. It's just break and retest. So I trade in sort of 5-minute candles, just looking for quick retraces, breakthrough, resistance points, support zones. So it's nothing major. I'm still learning quite a lot in trading. I still feel as though I only really know the basics. So I'll use this sort of as a learning curve more than anything, really.
Amazing. Yeah, I feel like it's a never-ending journey. So yeah. Do you think that going back to demo and practicing your strategy and whatnot there really helped you?
That helped me a lot, yeah. It was massive, right? Because then at the same time, you end up over-risking because you know it's not real money. Yeah. So you end up going from like a 0.5 lot size to like a 10 lot size just because you're like, okay, I'll put 10. See what happens. If it goes my way, then fantastic. But a demo account is probably the best way to start with, really, because that way you can then just practice every single strategy you're trying to follow. Obviously, you're watching loads and loads of YouTube videos, studying quite a lot, and I could sort of use to put a demo account to then transfer into a funded account. It's worked massively for me. But for me, definitely, if anyone new is starting to trading, I would always advise them start with a demo account, 100% for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Or if they're going to put any more money, put a very minimal amount of money, like £200, £300, not crazy, because I put in like 3 grand at the start and I blew it all, and then I put £500, then blew it all.
Yeah, they always say that your first live account, just expect to lose it.
Yeah, definitely. I've lost 3 live accounts, not from Think Capital, but I've lost 3 in general. And it was always, it's one of those myths, isn't it, where in the challenge accounts you breeze through, and as soon as you go to funded, you think that I'm going to make the same amount of profits I've made in my challenges. But then the minute you lose, you try to recoup the money back quicker. So you end up losing more and more because just risk management, emotions get to you.
Yeah, there's a whole different ballgame of emotions when it comes to your funded account.
Totally, yeah.
So what is the biggest obstacle you faced so far in your 3 to 4 years of trading? What would you say is the biggest hurdle that you've overcome?
Mindset and greed. Greed is really the biggest thing, because there's been times where I've had loads of chances to close a trade on 100 pips or 70 pips, and I've been, you know what, no, I want 200 pips, I want 300, and I've not even set a break even. So I think mindset and greed is probably the 2 biggest things, and even just stick to your strategy. Stick to something. If you've done something in your challenge accounts and your demo account and it's worked for you, yes, it might not always work, but if it has worked for you, stick to the same one. If that's what's passed you through the challenges, I feel as though it will get you through a funded account and you'll start to make profits. And that's what I've started to see in mine as well. I don't make massive amount of profits, but I've had 4 payouts from Think Capital so far. So really ones are not major, minor ones, but still good ones.
A payout is a payout. I think social media really brainwashes us into kind of, labeling a payout as big or small, but a payout is a payout. The goal is to get paid. So 4 is really, really good.
Definitely, because for me, it was just a matter of the way I see trading right now is sort of a side hustle until I've totally not mastered it, because I don't think anybody will ever master trading. But to be really, really good at it, I think before it becomes a full-time thing, just keep it as a side hustle at the moment.
Yeah.
Even if it's a couple $100 every 2 weeks, every 14 days, a wee small payout. Because I've had about a couple $200 payouts and one $300 one, so it's been over £1,000 I've been paid out so far, so it's been good.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's good. So is full-time trading your end goal? You maybe can't say that if you're still in a job at the minute, in case your boss is.
That is the goal, yeah. Ideally, that is the goal, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Cool. So how would you explain your risk management strategy now that you're trading with prop firms?
So my risk strategy is pretty simple. So I do sort of a 1 to 2 risk ratio. So I've stuck to that there. So before it was sort of like a 5 to 1, 6 to 1. It was something astronomical. Whereas now what I'm looking at is if I can get a 2 to 1 risk ratio, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And what I have started doing quite a lot now is setting my break even once I'm sort of 40 or 50 pips up. I trade mainly gold. Gold is the one sort of I've been trading on the majority. I think that's probably the one most traders trade anyway. Easy money, but at the same time easy to lose a lot of money. So the minute you see you're in good 30, 40 pips ahead, what I've started doing quite a lot now is setting my break even rather than say, okay, at least make whatever you've made, at least take that rather than losing it all and then obviously hitting your stop loss as well. So 2 to 1 risk ratio. It's also I've always got in mind that I don't lose more than 0.25% of my balance on a trade.
It's really good.
So if I've got a 25k account and I know I'm not going to lose more than $50 in one trade, obviously if I've got multiple trades on, that's fine, but on one trade I can't limit to $50 a trade loss.
Yeah, that's really good. So it seems like you prioritise protecting your account balance, which is what's giving you these 4 payouts, which is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
Amazing. So what tools or platforms do you use in your day-to-day trading? What platform do you execute on? Do you use ThinkTrader, MT5, TradingView?
MT5 is where all my trades are performed, but I use TradingView for the graphs and analysis and stuff. So I've got a couple of indicators on the TradingView, so I use that to look at my structure, to make my structure in the morning or whenever I'm trading, and then all my trade executions are all MT5.
Nice. And have you tried ThinkTrader before?
I've not actually tried it, no. It was something I've downloaded, but because it's one of those things where you're just so used to using one platform, TradingView, and you're like, is it going to be the exact same? Is it not going to be the exact same? But it's something I do want to try because I've seen quite a lot of comments on Trustpilot reviews about it as well. People have been talking quite highly about it, so it's definitely something that's on my radar now.
Yeah, there's bigger maximum allocation with ThinkTrader, and there's an app version on the desktop. I've used it, it's really good. You should give it a go. So what indicators do you use on your charts, or do you not use any?
The ones I've got at the moment is the break and retest. That's the main ones. And Fibonacci ones. They're the two that I mainly use quite a lot, but majority of the time it's break and retest. It's just one I've tried quite a lot, but there's one I found in the community section, which I really found. I've been using that now for about a year, so it's the one that's kind of worked for me quite a bit. So break and retest indicators.
Nice. And how has your strategy evolved over time? Is it the same now as when you started, or has it changed a lot?
It's changed quite a lot, the strategy, even the analysis and stuff, it's changed quite a lot, whereas before when I was making analysis, I always had in my mind, I was always biased, so if I knew at the morning the way it looked, there was going to be a buy, so I would always shape my strategy in a way it's going to be a buy, even though it wasn't the case. Whereas now I'm like, okay, I can't think, you can't make your mind up beforehand if it's going to be buy or sell. Look at the analysis first. Draw your draw your stats, draw everything that you need to draw in the graph first, and then take it. I feel as though now, with time, it's gone a lot better. Still a lot of tweaks to be made, of course. I'm still watching loads of YouTube videos in terms of how people do. Is like another thing I'm looking at now is FEG, the fair value gap. So I'm just looking at any trading into that sort of now, because I've only really got one trading style at the moment, which is the break and retest. Whereas I want to try and evolve my trading into a few more strategies.
Nice. And for anyone watching that they feel stuck where they don't have a strategy in place yet, what videos would you recommend? Like which ones on YouTube are you watching?
Well, I've got there's quite a few different YouTubers that I tend to follow. I don't even know the names actually. I've got a few links saved on my phone. It's one of the ones that's Forex Basics. It's one of the guys called Forex Basic channel. It's nice. All they do is talk about basically the very, very bare minimum stuff rather than going into sort of RSIs and all sorts of stuffs, deep into the Fibonacci's, rather than doing all that. They keep it very simple. They just talk about support zones, resistance zones, and that's it, and where the sort of the gaps and stuff are, FEGs, all that sort of stuff. So very, very simple stuff rather than, because trading can be as simple as you want it, but at the same time, if you overcomplicate it, you're just saying, if you look at every single thing, you're just going to overcomplicate it, I feel as though. So I keep it very, very simple for myself.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you've mentioned there that you used to kind of shoot for more like a 1 to 6 risk to reward, like high risk to rewards, but now you're more like 1 to 2. Is that a set risk to reward you have now in every trade that you place, or do you like how would you determine when you close a position? Do you use market structure or do you stick to the 1 to 2 risk to reward when you
All based on
exit?
market structure. So I've normally got my take profits and my stop loss obviously set. So my take profit would always be set.
Yeah.
At that time, it can change based on how the market's reacting. Of course, if I need to close my trade early with a small profit, I'll close my trade early with a small profit, or I'll take half of it and let the other half run. See where it goes if it hits my break even or if it hits my target. But I'll always go according to actual strategy to the actual market to see how the market performing because we all know any minute the candles can screw you over.
Especially on gold.
Yeah.
So, what does your trading day look like? Do you maybe, journal your trades? Do you backtest? Do you have any systems in place like before you trade? Do you to maybe like prepare, mark up your charts, etc.? Like, what's your trading routine?
So I don't really have a massive sort of preparation beforehand because I've still got my sort of full time job. So technically,
Yeah.
I normally dedicate about 3 days to trading because I tend to work on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm.
So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is ideally the days I would normally tend to trade. So what I would normally do is I would normally wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, try and get London session, not trade during London, but instead come always look at the structures, see how London's trading, how the Asia market finished overnight, and then usually try and trade just before the US market opens.
Mm.
So for the first couple of hours, I'll normally just start drawing up some structures. I'll normally put a wee trade on in a demo account to see how that would have played out if I put it on a live account normally. So I've still got a couple of demo accounts where I would normally just do some random trades on there based on what I think is going to happen. Um, but there's not really a massive amount of preparation that goes on to be fair. But like I said, I'm still although I've been doing it for 3 years, but for the first probably 2 years I spent just following random traders, just following their signals and stuff. So I didn't really learn much. Whereas what I'm learning now over the last sort of year is sort of self-taught more than anything really.
Yeah, amazing. Well, the next question is how would you stay in control of your emotions whenever you're trading? But you've mentioned how you've got really good risk management, so I imagine that's one of the ways. Do you have any other tips for staying in control of your emotions?
I've set myself sort of a amount of money that I want to make a week.
Mm.
Happily, if I hit that target within 1 or 2 days, I tend not to trade any further. So I've done so. I've basically got a 1% in my mind where if I can get 1% over 2 weeks, I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah,
Obviously, on a 25k account, that's only $250. So if I can hit 1% in 2 weeks, I'm more than happy. If I've hit basically 0.5% already in 3 days, I'll tend not to trade for the rest of that day and be like, you know what, that's fine. But I tend to stick to normal about $50 a day. If I can get $50 loss, I'll stop trading for that day. So I try not to put too much at risk for myself now. I'm trying to take this as far as I can. In terms of all the trading money that I've made, I want to put into that towards a live account and start building my live account. So I want to try and get my live account to 20k and then obviously keep taking the money out of the funded account and putting it into there.
yeah, I love that. So you've got that long-term vision, like a long-term plan. I think it's very
Yeah,
easy once you have a funded account, traders just focus on today. Or especially
yeah.
if payout days coming out, they just focus on the next payout. So yeah, I think
I
that's
know. I
really
got
good
I got a payout today. Actually, today I got a payout this
advice.
morning from yourselves. So
Congratulations.
today was my fourth payout with yourselves.
Yeah, amazing. Unreal. So, what advice would you have for traders that are currently where you were 3 to 4 years ago, just starting out? Like, what advice would you give them? They want to be trading within capital, they want to have 4 payouts, they want your results. What advice would you give?
The best bit of advice would be the minute you get your funded account, try and keep the funded account rather than thinking about too much profits.
Mm.
So I would always say if you've had a really good day one day, obviously every day is not going to be the same day. You're not going to make if you've taken a really big risk in one day and you put 5% at risk or you nearly whatever your allocation was doubles it, do not do the same thing the next day because I've done it before in other accounts and I've lost it before. So the best advice would be it's a marathon. Take it as slow as you can. If you've got a goal in mind, you don't need to get to that goal the next day. It can take you weeks, days, months, whatever long it takes you. You've got to take your time, protect your funded because it's not easy to get a funded account. To pass two challenges, although it seems easy, but it's all about risk management. So the minute you get that funded account, that's basically a step in towards one of your goal to achieve your goals. So
Mm.
protect the account more than anything, really. If you can protect the account, you will be profitable. But if you start thinking about big, crazy profits, you're going to blow your account within a week. which probably everyone has done. People blown in a day or 2 days. So the key is to protect your account.
Yeah, amazing. And with regards to, getting these back-to-back payouts, so I think it's, a lot of traders reach first payout, but then they struggle to maintain a funded account. They struggle to get that second one. What's your approach with that? Like, you've got your payout today. When are you going to trade on that account again, or do you take a break? Like, what's your process?
So I got the payout this morning, so I'm going to trade back on that account next week. Today obviously been Wednesday, so I know there's a lot of news coming up tonight as well. Today was a really bad day to trade with FOMC coming up. So I would the earliest I would touch this account would probably be on Friday or Monday. Because I know that I've only just had a payout. I think I've got about maybe 1% sitting there at the moment as a breathing gap basically. So I would probably wait a couple of days rather than try to get another payout straight away. So just what I've always done is the minute I get a payout, I don't trade in that same account for a day or two. I normally wait and see, right, okay, that's fine. And 3 days later, trading another account. It's always a matter of just controlling your emotions, because there will be time you'll sit there and look at a graph for 3 hours and you'll be like, okay, I'm going to sell this, I'm going to sell, but it's very hard to control your emotions.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think taking a break is really good advice. It's very easy to get a payout and then overconfidence kind of fuels your decisions. You up your leverage and stuff, and then that's how people struggle to get a second payout.
Yeah, and we've all done, because I've done it before with another prop firm where I got the first payout. It was a really big payout, and I felt as though I got lucky with that payout. I think it was about $3,500. I got really lucky with that payout because I put a high lot size. That time there was no risk management, and then when I got the payout, I think they reactivated my account, but I think it must have been 2 hours later. And then I put a very high lot size, thinking, right, I'm going to make that £3,000 in one day, and I'll leave the account and to get a payout. But I blew it. I literally blew it. I got a payout about 9 o'clock in the morning, and 3 o'clock that account was gone.
Oh no!
You just over risk, you overtrade because you think this is it. I'm going to make £3,000 a day. You're not going to do that.
Yeah, it's very difficult to maintain. I think we've all done it. So yeah, it's a learning curve though. I think you need to make these mistakes to find the motivation to be disciplined with risk. You have to do everything wrong before you feel motivated to do it right, in my opinion. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you need to, I think, for most people to learn how to control a funded account, they need to lose a few funded accounts before. Because if you've never lost a funded account, you don't know the feeling of going through the whole test, challenge, nearly getting your payout and then blowing it. Yeah. So for me, to blow 2 or 3 funded accounts probably is the reason why I've had 4 payouts for yourselves. Yeah. I think if this was the first company I had a funded account with, I probably would have blown it the next day, because you get happy. It's one of the emotions take over. You're like, yes, I've got a funded account. I can now lose 5%, maximum 5% a day, which is quite a lot of money. So you end up over risking, like you say, over leveraging. Your risk to reward ratio, there is none at that point. Because I've kept trades on without a stop loss, without a take profit, thinking if this hits the number I want it to hit, I'll close it, and it never does. So
yeah, convincing yourself that you're right.
Basically, you try to blow the market in your direction. The market's not it's not user friendly.
So, how has your experience been with Think Capital so far? How long have you been trading with us?
To be honest, really good. It's the only firm I've actually had 4 payouts from. So there's not really been an issue. There was an issue at the start with KYC, but that was just because it was my laptop playing up. So I had a couple of conversations with them through the chat, and they sorted it quickly. There's not really been any. I've never really had to actually message them about anything, because there's been times where with some firms, if you've not had a payout for 3, 4, 5 days, you end up messaging them. Whereas every time because the main reason people trade is to get the payout. So if you get your payouts, there's no complaints really. The customer service has always been top notch as well. If there ever has been any questions, they've been answered straight away. I genuinely think this is probably one of the best firms out there, simply because it's so smooth to request everything, to get an account, any information you need. They've got the chat options there, and they respond very, very quickly as well. So
amazing, good. I'm glad to hear it. So, have you joined the Discord session? Have you joined any of the live sessions in there?
I joined the live session a few days ago. I am part of the Discord group. I have joined a couple of live sessions actually, and I felt as though they were really helpful. And I've got to join some of the chats as well. The chats can be kind of funny at times, but I have joined quite a bit, yeah.
Amazing, because I think a lot of people watching this aren't aware that we host live sessions every Friday, well, most Fridays. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're taking advantage of that. But yeah, that is all the questions I have for you. If there's anything else you'd like to add.
No, not really. There's not really much I would add to that, actually. I feel as though the overall experience within Capital has been really good. It generally has been, and I've already recommended it to quite a few friends as well. Just because over the last sort of maybe 2 years, there's been a lot of firms that sort of went downhill, or just totally collapsed. So with this one, I know you're fairly new. It's only really been about a couple of years, isn't it, really? So it's a fairly new firm, but they've been really good. No, absolutely no issues. Even like I mentioned, the communication, it's been sort of top notch. But there's really nothing else I would add to it, no.
Amazing. Well, we'd love to have you on for a follow-up interview in a few weeks or so, if you're up for that. Be good to catch up again.
Yeah, I'd be up for it, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah, sounds good.